Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. I'm Chris with M7 Metalworks. Going to try to put the tractor back together. Now this is a Super 55 if you follow along with some of the little things that I've been doing. I haven't recorded everything on this simply because I did it all on my 550, so it's exactly, many of the things are exactly the same. I did record a few things from the Super 55 simply because I didn't do those on the 550, but a couple things, and I put the tractor back together, or the 550 back together on video as well, but there's a couple things that I neglected to kind of show or give little tips on. So one of the things that I'm going to give a recommendation for are these pipe, or I don't know what you'd call them, screw type jacks. They're really, really good in that they're super solid. They'll hold a bunch of tonnage, I think 20 tons and maybe 14 or 16 tons or something like that. But the nice thing about them is there's no sag over time. So when on the 550, if you recall on the 550, I cribbed it up with some blocks of wood. And that's okay, it'll get it done. But the problem that I had is over the course of about 2 or 3 weeks when I had the tractor apart doing all the work on it, it had settled that wood just a little bit. And so it had caused a problem when I went to go together. It was a lot more difficult. These don't do that. Plus, to be fair, the wood allowed some movement. This thing just doesn't move. I mean, obviously if you hit it real hard, it could, but it really doesn't move on you. It's extremely solid. So that's one tip I would give. And then also, when you're pushing these back together, it does help to turn your PTO shaft as you're going together. And if you don't want to move your PTO shaft, you can just disengage the PTO. But if you just, I mean, I'm not even engaging it, I'm just pushing it back a little bitty bit. But that allows me to turn that a little bit so that when I am trying to take this forward, that the hope is that I'm in alignment. I don't know if I was out of the screenshot on that there. So I'm going to go ahead and record the entire thing. I'm sure I'll probably edit some of it. Just simply, it takes a little bit of time getting it forward. But I want to record the entire thing as we make the connection here. And it should go in easy. And what I mean by that is it could be, I could struggle a little bit, but if I've got everything right, it should go together easy. It shouldn't be real hard. You know, I should get it within, I don't know, 1/4 inch or so pretty easily. That last 1/4 inch might need to use the bolts to kind of pull her all together. But at that point, I'm in the pilot bearing and I'm in the clutch and then the pressure plate. So let's get her done. Okay guys, so it's going super easy so far. Smooth, right in, no problems at all. So what I'm going to do now is I've got some great big old bolts. I think these are 5/8 inch bolts. I'm just going to put these in like this. Hopefully you can see that. These, it's the same bolts obviously you'd use to attach your tractor, only these are a lot longer. I think these are 8-inch bolts. And I'm just using them now kind of as a guide pin. I've got a guide pin coming here, and but these will keep me from going laterally and this kind of thing from quite a bit further out. I mean, I'm 1 inch out right now. So real easy so far to get this to where it's at right now. So all I'm going to do is just kind of screw that in, and I'll do one on the other side in the exact same place, and that way it just makes it a little bit easier for me. And if something were to happen that I were to bump this off, and I could have done this way back there, but it was going frankly so smooth it wasn't necessary. So if I were to bump the jacks or do something crazy like this, these are grade 8 bolts and they would actually hold it up. It just gives a safety factor, and it'll make it a little easier for everything to kind of come together. All right, I'm going to go forward a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to try to zoom you in here. So you can see we're at, we're about 1/4 of an inch. So we're in the pilot hole at this point. I'll try giving her a little bit of a shove to push it on forward, but at this point we can easily use the bolts to pull her in, or I could use some clamps or about anything. So we're in there at this point. Yeah. Nice. I can feel that I'm actually turning the clutch. So pretty nice. All right, well, I'll start bolting her back together. I just wanted to show you that, guys. It can be kind of troublesome sometimes when you're putting these back together. Pulling it apart's easy, but putting it back together can be a little bit of a struggle sometimes. So just know that things should come together really easy. I've already got my dowel pins, the little pins here on both sides. They're already protruding through. Once you get to that point where your dowel pins are actually in the plate here, you're good to go. You can use your bolts at that point and just, I would do it evenly. So a few bolts on this side, a few bolts on that side, and just pull it in slowly, a little, a few turns at a time on both sides, and just go back and forth, just so you bring it in somewhat evenly. But if you get any resistance at all, stop, back the thing up just a little bit, turn your PTO, see if you can't realign that just a little bit. It means it's off a little bit. I'll also give one more tip. On your shafts, I should have showed this before I put it together, but on your shafts, those spline shafts that are coming into the clutch and the clutch pressure plate, just make sure you don't have any burrs or anything on those spline shafts. Same thing on your pressure plate and your clutch, that there's no burrs on those. Though if it's got just a single little point or burr, those things will catch, and it'll wreak havoc on trying to put this thing back together. If everything's smooth and you put a little bit of lubrication, I put just a little bit of grease on those things, they come together typically pretty easy. You just don't want to force things. So Guys, I'm Chris with M7 Metalworks. Thanks for watching. I hope this helps.